About 155 million years ago, Earth was home to one of the most powerful, meat-eating dinosaurs ever to exist. Its name was Allosaurus, a fierce predator that ruled the land during the Late Jurassic period, long before Tyrannosaurus rex appeared. It lived until about 145 million years ago and hunted across large parts of what is now North America. With its sharp teeth, strong jaws, powerful legs, and long tail for balance, Allosaurus was built to chase and kill large plant-eating dinosaurs. The Allosaurus was one of the best-known meat-eating dinosaurs that lived during the Late Jurassic period. It lived about 155 million to 145 million years ago, during a time when large dinosaurs were common across many parts of the world. Allosaurus became one of the most studied dinosaurs because scientists have found many of its bones. These discoveries have helped people understand what it looked like, how it lived, what it ate, how it moved, and how it survived in its environment. The name Allosaurus means different lizard. The name was chosen because some of its backbone bones were different from those of other dinosaurs that had been found before it. The dinosaur was first described by the American scientist Othniel Charles Marsh in the late 19th century after fossils were discovered in North America. Since then, many more fossils have been found, making it one of the most complete large meat-eating dinosaurs known from the Jurassic period. Allosaurus belonged to a group of dinosaurs called theropods. Theropods walked on two legs, and most of them were meat-eaters. This group also included many other famous dinosaurs that lived at different times. Allosaurus was among the largest predators of its time, although not every individual reached the same size. Young animals were much smaller than adults and continued growing over many years before reaching full size. An adult Allosaurus usually grew to around 8 to 10 meters in length, although some larger individuals may have reached about 12 meters. Scientists continue to study fossil evidence because not every skeleton is complete, and different fossils show different sizes. Its height at the hips was around 3 meters, and its weight may have been between 1 and 2 metric tons, depending on the individual. Its body was built for movement. It had a long tail that helped keep its balance while walking or running. The tail contained many strong bones connected by muscles and tendons. This made it easier for the animal to stay steady while chasing prey or turning quickly. The tail also balanced the heavy head at the front of the body. The skull of Allosaurus was large and powerful. It could grow to nearly 1 meter in length in some adults. The skull had many openings that reduced its weight while still allowing it to remain strong. These openings also provided space for muscles, blood vessels, and nerves. Because of this design, the head stayed lighter than a completely solid skull of the same size. The jaws contained many sharp teeth. These teeth were curved backward, making it difficult for struggling prey to escape after being bitten. The edges of the teeth had small saw-like markings that helped cut through flesh. Teeth often broke during feeding or hunting, but new teeth grew to replace old ones throughout the dinosaur's life. This ability allowed Allosaurus to keep effective teeth even after many years of hunting. Its eyes faced slightly forward, giving it some depth perception. This may have helped it judge distance while attacking prey. Scientists believe it also had a good sense of sight, although it is difficult to know exactly how well it could see. The parts of the skull connected to vision suggest that eyesight played an important role in its daily life. The nose contained openings that allowed air to enter the body. Some scientists believe the animal had a strong sense of smell, which may have helped it locate prey or detect dead animals from a distance. Smell may also have helped individuals recognize members of their own species or find mates during the breeding season. One of the most noticeable features of Allosaurus was the pair of small bony crests above its eyes. These crests were not horns like those seen in some other animals. Instead, they were low ridges made from bone. Scientists are still studying their purpose. They may have helped with recognizing other Allosaurus individuals, or may have played a role during displays between members of the same species. The neck was strong and flexible. This allowed the head to move quickly in different directions. The neck muscles were important when biting prey because they helped pull the head downward and backward after the teeth entered the flesh. This movement may have increased the damage caused by each bite. The front legs of Allosaurus were much shorter than the back legs, but they were not useless. Each hand had 3 fingers with large curved claws. These claws were sharp and strong enough to hold struggling prey. The front arms could bend easily, allowing the hands to move toward the chest. Scientists believe these arms helped the dinosaur hold prey while using its jaws. The back legs were long and powerful. They carried the weight of the body and allowed the animal to move across different kinds of ground. Strong thigh muscles and lower leg bones supported running, walking, and turning. Although Allosaurus was large, it was probably able to move faster than many of the plant-eating dinosaurs it hunted. Each foot had 3 main toes that touched the ground. Sharp claws covered the ends of these toes. Another smaller toe was raised higher and usually did not touch the ground while walking. The arrangement of the toes helped spread the animal's weight and provided stability during movement. The skin of Allosaurus is not completely known because very little direct skin evidence has been found. Scientists think it was covered mainly with scales, as was common among many large meat-eating dinosaurs. The scales may have varied in size across different parts of the body. Some areas may have had larger scales for protection, while other areas may have had smaller ones that allowed easier movement. The color of Allosaurus remains unknown because colors are rarely preserved in fossils from such ancient times. It may have had colors that helped it blend into its surroundings, but there is no direct proof. Artists often create different color patterns based on modern animals, but these remain ideas rather than confirmed facts. Allosaurus lived in an environment that looked very different from many places today. Large river systems crossed wide plains. Forests grew near water, while open areas stretched across the landscape. The climate was generally warm, and there were seasons with changes in rainfall. Plants such as conifers, cycads, ginkgo trees, horsetails and ferns covered much of the land. Many different dinosaurs shared this environment. Huge plant eaters wandered across the plains looking for food. Long-necked sauropods such as Apatosaurus, Diplodocus, Camarasaurus, and Brachiosaurus lived in the same general areas. Stegosaurus also lived there, using its plates and tail spikes for protection. Smaller plant eaters and other meat-eating dinosaurs were also present. Because so many plant-eating dinosaurs lived during this time, there was a large food supply for predators. Allosaurus occupied an important place in this environment by hunting animals and feeding on meat. It may also have eaten dead animals whenever the opportunity appeared. Eating both hunted prey and carcasses would have increased its chances of survival. Scientists have debated exactly how Allosaurus hunted. Some believe it attacked large prey directly. Others think it mainly hunted smaller animals that were easier to overpower. It is possible that different individuals hunted different kinds of prey, depending on their size, age, health, and experience. The shape of its skull suggests that its bite may not have been as crushing as that of some later meat-eating dinosaurs. Instead of depending only on jaw strength, Allosaurus may have bitten and then pulled its head backward using its neck muscles. This action could create deep wounds. Repeated bites may have weakened prey over time. Its curved teeth worked well for cutting flesh. Because they curved backward, they stayed inside the prey more easily after biting. If a tooth broke during feeding, another tooth eventually replaced it. This constant replacement reduced the long-term effect of damaged teeth. Some fossil bones of plant-eating dinosaurs contain marks that match Allosaurus teeth. These marks provide direct evidence that Allosaurus fed on these animals. In some cases, healed bite marks show that prey survived attacks. This means that not every hunt ended successfully. Scientists have also found Allosaurus bite marks on bones that probably belong to already dead animals. This suggests that it sometimes fed on carcasses. Feeding on animals that had already died would save energy and reduce the risk of injury from hunting. Hunting was dangerous. Large plant-eating dinosaurs could defend themselves with tails, horns, spikes, or powerful kicks. Even one successful strike from a large prey animal could cause broken bones or serious injuries. Fossils show that some Allosaurus individuals suffered broken ribs, damaged limbs, infections, and healed wounds, showing that they survived difficult experiences. The famous fossil site known as the Cleveland Lloyd Dinosaur Quarry in the western United States has produced an unusually large number of Allosaurus bones. Scientists continue studying why so many individuals were found together. Some think they gathered around trapped prey or water. Others suggest floods or mud may have collected bones from different places over time. The exact reason remains uncertain. Many skeletons from this quarry belong to young individuals rather than fully grown adults. This has helped scientists study how Allosaurus changed as it grew. Young animals had different body proportions from adults. Their legs were relatively longer and their bodies were lighter, which may have allowed them to move more quickly. As Allosaurus aged, its bones became thicker and stronger, the skull grew larger, and the muscles became more powerful. Growth did not happen at the same speed throughout life. Some periods involved faster growth while others were slower. Scientists study growth rings inside fossil bones to estimate the age of individual animals. Like living reptiles and birds, Allosaurus laid eggs. No complete nesting site that clearly belongs to Allosaurus has been confirmed. So many details remain unknown. Females probably laid eggs in nests built on the ground. After the eggs hatched, the young dinosaurs were much smaller than adults and faced many dangers from predators and harsh environmental conditions. Young Allosaurus probably hunted smaller prey than adults. Small reptiles, mammals, insects, and young dinosaurs may have been easier for them to catch. As they grew larger, they could gradually hunt bigger animals. Scientists continue studying whether adult Allosaurus cared for their young after hatching. At present, there is no clear evidence showing long-term parental care. Young individuals may have become independent relatively early, although this remains uncertain. Bone diseases and injuries found in fossils show that Allosaurus faced many health challenges. Some skeletons contain healed fractures, showing that broken bones sometimes recovered. Others display signs of infection. Despite these injuries, many animals lived long enough for healing to occur, showing that they could survive even after serious damage. Parasites may also have affected Allosaurus, although direct evidence is limited. Like many modern animals, it probably carried small organisms inside or outside its body during its lifetime. Scientists study fossilized footprints to learn about dinosaur movement. Although footprints cannot always be linked with complete certainty to Allosaurus, some tracks from the Jurassic period likely belong to large meat-eating dinosaurs with similar body shapes. These footprints show animals walking across soft ground near rivers and lakes. Footprints also help estimate walking speed. By measuring the distance between footprints, scientists can estimate how quickly an animal moved. By measuring the distance between footprints, scientists can estimate how quickly an animal moved. Evidence suggests that Allosaurus spent much of its time walking rather than running. Running probably happened mainly during hunting or when escaping danger. Its breathing system was likely efficient. Some scientists think it had air sacs connected to the lungs, similar to those found in modern birds. These air sacs may have improved breathing and reduced the weight of certain bones. Fossil evidence supports this possibility, although many details continue to be studied. The brain of Allosaurus was relatively small compared to the size of its body, but this does not mean it was unable to survive effectively. Its brain was suited to the needs of a large predator. Areas connected with movement, balance, smell, and vision appear to have been well developed. Its inner ear helped control balance while walking and moving the head. Good balance was important during hunting because sudden movements required coordination between the eyes, neck, legs, and tail. Scientists use modern technology to study Allosaurus fossils. Computed tomography scans allow researchers to look inside fossil bones without damaging them. Computer models help estimate muscle size, movement, and bite forces. Three-dimensional printing also allows researchers to create copies of bones for study without risking damage to valuable fossils. Different Allosaurus fossils have been found mainly in North America, especially in the Morrison Formation. This rock formation contains many dinosaur fossils and provides valuable information about life during the Late Jurassic period. Fossils believed to belong to Allosaurus have also been reported from other parts of the world, although some remain uncertain and continue to be studied. The Morrison Formation contains not only dinosaur bones, but also fossil plants, fish, turtles, crocodile relatives, mammals, insects, and many other living things. Together, these fossils help scientists rebuild the ancient environment where Allosaurus lived. The process of fossil formation required special conditions. After an animal died, its body usually had to be buried quickly by mud, sand, or other materials before scavengers and weather destroyed the bones. Over millions of years, minerals replaced parts of the bones, turning them into fossils preserved within rock. Finding Allosaurus fossils requires careful work. Scientists first locate bones exposed by weather or erosion. They then carefully remove surrounding rock using small tools. Fragile bones are covered with protective material before being transported to laboratories for cleaning and study. Once fossils reach the laboratory, workers remove remaining rock using fine tools under microscopes when necessary. Broken pieces are repaired and missing sections may be supported, so the skeleton can be safely displayed or studied. Museums around the world display Allosaurus skeletons because they attract many visitors. Some displays use original fossil bones, while others include casts made from molds. These exhibits help people learn about prehistoric life and the history of scientific discovery. Books, documentaries, films, educational programs, toys, and museum exhibits have made Allosaurus one of the most recognized dinosaurs. Its appearance in popular culture has introduced millions of people to the Jurassic world and encouraged interest in fossils and ancient life. Scientists continue debating how social Allosaurus may have been. Some researchers suggest it sometimes gathered in groups, while others believe it mostly lived alone, except during mating or feeding. The large number of fossils found together has raised questions, but no final answer has been reached. If groups did exist, they may not have stayed together all the time. Temporary gatherings around food or water are possible. Permanent family groups remain uncertain because fossil evidence does not clearly support one idea over another. Different species have been suggested within the Allosaurus group. The best-known species is Allosaurus fragilis, which is supported by many fossils. Other proposed species continue to be studied, and scientists sometimes disagree about whether certain fossils belong to separate species or simply represent differences caused by age, growth, or natural variation. Natural changes within individuals are common in living animals, and dinosaurs probably showed similar variation. Some individuals had slightly different bone shapes or sizes. These differences do not always mean they belonged to different species. Scientists compare bones from many skeletons before deciding whether a fossil belongs to an existing species or represents a new one. Each new discovery may provide additional information that changes earlier ideas. The extinction of Allosaurus happened near the end of the Jurassic period, as environments and animal communities changed over long periods of time. New kinds of meat-eating dinosaurs later became common during the Cretaceous period. Allosaurus itself disappeared from the fossil record, leaving only its preserved bones to tell its story. Its fossils continue providing new information because scientific methods improve over time. Even bones collected many years ago can reveal new details when examined with modern equipment. Researchers regularly return to museum collections to study fossils again, using techniques that were unavailable when the bones were first discovered. Each new fossil has the potential to answer old questions or raise new ones. A single tooth, claw, footprint, or bone fragment can provide information about growth, movement, feeding, health, or the environment. Scientists carefully record the exact location of each discovery because the surrounding rocks also provide important clues. Allosaurus remains one of the most important dinosaurs for understanding the late Jurassic world. The large number of fossils discovered over many years has allowed scientists to study nearly every part of its skeleton. Continued discoveries help improve knowledge about its body, growth, hunting behavior, environment, and place within the history of life on Earth. Allosaurus lived during the late Jurassic period, a time when many kinds of dinosaurs, early mammals, flying reptiles, and other animals shared the land, water, and sky. Scientists have learned about this dinosaur by studying thousands of fossil bones that have been found over many years. These fossils show that Allosaurus lived about 155 million to 145 million years ago. During that long stretch of time, the land, weather, plants, and animals were different from those of today. The world looked very different, and many of the places where Allosaurus once walked have changed greatly because of millions of years of natural change. The late Jurassic period was part of the Mesozoic era. During this time, the continents had not yet reached the places where they are today. They were still moving very slowly because of the movement of Earth's crust. Large land areas were breaking apart into smaller continents. Seas spread into some low areas, while wide stretches of dry land remained connected across many regions. These changes shaped the places where dinosaurs could live and find food. Allosaurus lived in areas that had many rivers, streams, lakes, open plains, forests, and places with thick plant growth. These different environments gave many kinds of animals places to live. Large plant-eating dinosaurs found enough food from the rich plant life, and meat-eating dinosaurs such as Allosaurus had many possible animals to hunt or feed on. One of the most important places where Allosaurus fossils have been found is in what is now the western part of the United States. Today, fossils have been discovered in states including Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, New Mexico, South Dakota, Oklahoma, and other nearby areas. During the Late Jurassic period, these places were joined as part of a broad land area with rivers, floodplains, forests, and open ground. The rocks in these regions have helped scientists understand the world where Allosaurus lived. Many Allosaurus fossils have come from the Morrison Formation. This is one of the best-known rock formations for dinosaur fossils anywhere in the world. The Morrison Formation stretches across several states in the western United States. It was formed from layers of mud, sand, river deposits, and other natural materials that built up over many years. These layers later hardened into rock. Inside these rocks, the remains of many dinosaurs were buried and protected until they were discovered by scientists. The Morrison Formation tells a great deal about the places where Allosaurus lived. The land was not covered by one single type of environment. Some places were wetter than others. Rivers flowed across the land, carrying sand and mud. Floods sometimes covered wide areas, leaving fresh layers of soil. Lakes formed in some places, while other areas became dry during parts of the year. Forests grew near rivers where water was easier to find. Open areas supported many kinds of plants that could survive changing weather. The weather during the Late Jurassic period was generally warm. There were no ice sheets covering the poles like those seen during much later times in Earth's history. Many parts of the world stayed warm throughout the year. Rainfall changed from place to place. Some areas received enough rain to support thick forests, while other places had long, dry seasons. Rivers often became the centers of life because they supplied fresh water for plants and animals. The plants that grew during this time were very different from those seen in many modern forests. Flowering plants had not yet become common. Instead, forests contained many kinds of conifers, cycads, seed ferns, horsetails, ginkgo trees, and ferns. These plants covered the land with leaves, stems, and branches that fed many plant-eating dinosaurs. Thick plant growth also provided shelter for smaller animals. Large plant-eating dinosaurs moved through these forests and open areas every day. Long-necked dinosaurs such as Apatosaurus, Diplodocus, Brachiosaurus, and Camarasaurus lived in many of the same places as Allosaurus. These giant animals spent much of their time feeding on leaves from trees and other plants. Smaller plant-eating dinosaurs also lived in the region, feeding on lower plants and moving through forests and open ground. Stegosaurus also lived during the Late Jurassic period. This dinosaur carried large plates along its back and spikes on its tail. Fossils show that Stegosaurus shared much of its environment with Allosaurus. The two animals probably crossed paths many times during their lives. Young Stegosaurus may have faced danger from large meat-eating dinosaurs, while healthy adults could defend themselves with their strong tails. Smaller dinosaurs also lived in the same habitats. Some were quick runners that searched for plants, insects, or other food. Others hunted small animals. Their bones have been found in many of the same rock layers as Allosaurus. This shows that the Late Jurassic world supported many different kinds of life living together across large areas. Allosaurus needed enough food to survive. Living in places filled with many plant-eating dinosaurs gave it many possible food sources. Scientists believed that Allosaurus hunted some animals and also fed on dead animals whenever the chance appeared. Fossil evidence shows that large meat-eating dinosaurs often lived where large groups of plant-eating dinosaurs were present, because these environments provided enough food over long periods. The rivers that crossed the Morrison landscape played an important part in daily life. Water supported plants that fed plant-eating dinosaurs. Rivers also attracted animals that came to drink. This created places where many different species gathered. These river valleys became important living areas throughout the Late Jurassic period. Floodplains stretched beside many rivers. These flat lands received fresh mud whenever rivers overflowed. The new soil helped many plants grow well. Plant-eating dinosaurs returned again and again to feed in these rich areas. Meat-eating dinosaurs also spent time there because many possible prey animals could be found nearby. Seasonal weather affected life across the land. Some months brought heavier rainfall, causing rivers to grow larger and flood nearby ground. Other times were drier, and water became more limited in some places. Animals likely moved between different areas, as water and food changed during the year. These movements helped shape where Allosaurus spent its time. Scientists study the rock layers that hold Allosaurus fossils to understand the ancient environment. Different layers contain different types of soil, sand, clay, and minerals. These materials show whether an area was once a river, a lake, a floodplain, or dry land. Fossils of plants, fish, turtles, crocodile relatives, insects, and other animals add more information about the places where Allosaurus lived. Allosaurus fossils have also been found outside North America. Fossils linked to this dinosaur group have been discovered in Portugal. During the Late Jurassic period, North America and Europe were arranged differently than they are today. Land connections and shorter distances between some regions may have allowed related animals to spread across wide areas. These discoveries show that members of the Allosaurus family lived across more than one part of the world. The rocks of Portugal preserve many late Jurassic animals and plants. Fossils from this region include dinosaurs, crocodile relatives, turtles, fish, and many other animals. These discoveries help scientists understand that Allosaurus lived in warm environments with rich plant life and many kinds of animals. Finding fossils takes careful work. Over millions of years, the bodies of dead animals were covered by mud, sand, volcanic ash, or other materials. Soft body parts slowly disappeared while bones remained buried. Minerals entered the bones and slowly replaced much of the original material. This process created fossils that could survive for millions of years inside solid rock. Wind, rain, rivers, and natural erosion slowly exposed some of these fossils at the surface. Scientists searched these areas and found bones sticking out of rock layers. Careful digging allowed them to uncover skeletons, piece by piece. Every fossil provided more information about where Allosaurus lived and what its world looked like. One famous fossil area is known as the Cleveland Lloyd Dinosaur Quarry in Utah. This site has produced a very large number of Allosaurus bones. Scientists have found the remains of many individual Allosaurus dinosaurs there, along with fossils of other animals. The reason so many Allosaurus bones gathered in one place is still being studied. Some scientists think repeated natural events brought bodies into the area over a long period. Others believe changing water conditions may have trapped animals. Research continues as new evidence is studied. The large number of Allosaurus fossils found in western North America suggests that this dinosaur was one of the most common large meat-eating dinosaurs living in the Morrison Formation. Fossils from different ages show that Allosaurus lived across this region for a long period during the Late Jurassic. Young animals, adults, and older individuals have all been found, showing that populations continued over many generations. Different sizes of Allosaurus fossils also suggest that these dinosaurs lived through many stages of growth within the same environments. Young individuals probably stayed in places where food and shelter were easier to find, while fully grown adults moved across larger areas in search of food. Fossil discoveries from different rock layers continue to help scientists understand how these animals lived across the changing landscapes of the Late Jurassic period. Allosaurus did not become one of the most successful hunters of the Late Jurassic period as soon as it hatched from its egg. Like every dinosaur, it started life as a small young animal that depended on steady growth to survive. Over many years, its body changed in size, strength, and ability. Every stage of its life brought new challenges. It had to find enough food, avoid danger, heal from injuries, and continue growing until it reached full size. The process of growing into a large hunter involved changes in its bones, muscles, teeth, jaws, legs, senses, and behavior. These changes helped Allosaurus take its place among the largest meat-eating dinosaurs living during its time. The first stage of life began inside an egg. Female Allosaurus likely laid eggs in nests built on dry ground. The nests may have been placed in areas where the eggs would remain warm and safe from flooding. Scientists have not found a complete Allosaurus nest with eggs and young together, but discoveries from other meat-eating dinosaurs help researchers understand how many theropods probably reproduced. The eggs would have needed enough warmth for the developing young inside. After enough time had passed, the young dinosaur broke through the shell using a small hard point near the end of its snout. This structure disappeared after the young animal no longer needed it. A newly hatched Allosaurus looked different from the fully grown adult. It was much smaller, lighter, and less powerful. Its bones had not yet reached full strength. Its muscles were still developing. Its jaws could not produce the same force as those of an adult. Even though it already had sharp teeth, it could not hunt very large animals. At this early stage, survival depended on finding smaller food that matched its size and strength. Young Allosaurus probably fed on insects, small reptiles, tiny mammals, fish, frogs, and small dinosaurs whenever the chance appeared. These animals were easier to catch and required less force to kill. Small prey also lowered the risk of injury. A young hunter that attacked an animal much larger than itself could easily be kicked, bitten, or crushed. Staying alive meant choosing prey carefully. As the young dinosaur continued growing, its bones became longer and thicker. Bone tissue formed layer after layer. Living bone contains cells that build new material and repair damage. Scientists study the inside of fossil bones by cutting thin sections and examining them under powerful microscopes. These studies show that many dinosaurs experienced periods of fast growth while they were young. Growth rings inside the bones, which formed in different seasons, help researchers estimate age and growth speed. During these years, Allosaurus needed a steady supply of food. Meat provided protein and energy for building muscles, bones, skin, and organs. If food became scarce because of drought or changes in the environment, growth may have slowed. When food became plentiful again, growth could continue at a faster rate. This pattern is seen in many living animals today and may also have affected dinosaurs. The skull changed greatly during growth. In young animals, the skull bones were not as thick as those of adults. As the dinosaur aged, the skull became stronger and better able to handle the forces created during hunting. The joints connecting different bones also became stronger. These changes allowed the head to survive repeated bites and struggles with prey. The teeth were another important part of growth. Allosaurus constantly replaced its teeth throughout life. If a tooth broke during feeding or hunting, another tooth slowly developed beneath it. Eventually, the old tooth fell out and the new one took its place. This continuous replacement allowed the dinosaur to keep sharp, cutting teeth even after many years of use. The teeth themselves were curved backward and had tiny, sharp edges along both sides. These edges helped slice through skin, muscle, and other soft tissue. As the jaws became larger, the bite covered a wider area. The stronger neck muscles also helped pull the head backward after biting, making it easier to tear flesh from large animals. The neck became thicker and more powerful as Allosaurus grew. Strong neck muscles connected to the skull and backbone. These muscles supported the heavy head and helped control its movement. During hunting, the neck allowed quick downward strikes and strong pulling actions while feeding. A stronger neck also reduced the chance of injury when struggling with prey. The arms of Allosaurus remained much shorter than its legs, but they still became stronger with age. Each hand had 3 fingers ending in large curved claws. The claws could grip struggling prey at close range. They may also have helped hold food while the jaws delivered repeated bites. Strong muscles in the shoulders and upper arms supported these actions. The legs experienced major changes during growth. The thigh bones lengthened and the lower leg bones became stronger. Powerful muscles developed around the hips and thighs. These muscles allowed Allosaurus to move quickly when necessary. Strong legs also helped support the increasing body weight as the animal approached adulthood. The feet carried much of the dinosaur's weight. Each step placed pressure on bones, joints, muscles, and tendons. Healthy feet were necessary for hunting, traveling, and escaping danger. Fossil footprints from large theropod dinosaurs show that they walked and ran on 3 main toes while keeping another smaller toe raised above the ground. This arrangement helped support body weight while moving across different types of ground. Balance became increasingly important as body size increased. The long tail acted as a counterweight behind the hips. Strong muscles connected the tail to the legs, helping provide power during movement. The tail also helped keep the body steady while turning or changing direction. Good balance reduced the chance of falling during fast movement or while attacking prey. The senses also developed as Allosaurus matured. Its eyes faced somewhat forward, giving overlapping fields of vision. This arrangement likely improved depth perception, making it easier to judge distance while hunting. Good distance judgment helped the dinosaur decide when to attack and how far away its prey was moving. Its sense of smell may also have been important. Openings inside the skull indicate space for structures related to smelling. A strong sense of smell could help locate dead animals for feeding or detect living prey hidden by plants or changes in the land. Smell may also have helped identify other Allosaurus individuals during the breeding season. Hearing probably played an important role as well. Sounds made by moving animals, calls from other dinosaurs, and noises from predators could all provide useful information. Although scientists cannot know exactly what sounds Allosaurus heard, studies of the skull suggest that it could detect important sounds in its environment. The brain also grew during development. Even though dinosaur brains were generally not large compared with body size, the brain still controlled movement, balance, vision, smell, hearing, feeding, and many other body functions. Young Allosaurus had to learn from experience. Every successful hunt increased its chances of surviving another day. Every mistake could result in injury or death. Learning likely played a role in hunting skill. A young dinosaur probably did not catch prey as efficiently as an older individual. Over time, repeated attempts allowed it to improve its timing, movement, and choice of prey. Animals that learned effective hunting methods would have been more likely to survive and reproduce. Injuries were almost certainly part of life. Fossils of Allosaurus often show healed broken bones, damaged ribs, injured feet, and bite marks. Healing shows that many individuals survived long enough after injury for the bones to repair themselves. Bone tissue slowly rebuilt damaged areas, although some healed bones remained uneven or thicker than before. These injuries may have come from hunting large prey, fighting with other Allosaurus, or accidents while moving across rough ground. the environment also influenced growth. During the Late Jurassic period, much of western North America contained rivers, floodplains, forests, open areas, lakes, and seasonal dry regions. These changing environments affected the availability of food and water. Young Allosaurus had to adapt to changing conditions throughout the year. Areas with abundant plant life attracted large plant-eating dinosaurs, which in turn attracted meat-eating hunters. As Allosaurus continued growing through its younger years, its hunting targets gradually became larger. Instead of feeding mainly on very small animals, it could begin attacking medium-sized dinosaurs. Its stronger jaws, longer legs, improved balance, and larger muscles increased its hunting ability. Every increase in body size opened new feeding opportunities that had been impossible during its earliest years. Large plant-eating dinosaurs such as stegosaurs, young sauropods, and other herbivorous dinosaurs formed an important part of the food available in its environment. Fully grown sauropods were extremely large, and healthy adults would have been difficult and dangerous prey. Young, weak, injured, sick or isolated individuals would have offered more realistic hunting opportunities. Natural deaths also provided large amounts of meat for scavenging, and Allosaurus likely fed on carcasses whenever it found them. By the time Allosaurus reached adulthood, years of steady growth had transformed it into a powerful meat-eating dinosaur, with a large skull, strong neck, sharp replacement teeth, muscular legs, balanced body, and well-developed hunting skills that allowed it to survive among the many animals living during the Late Jurassic period. Many animals that eat meat today hunt alone, while others hunt in groups. Because of this, scientists have looked carefully at Allosaurus fossils to see if there are signs that might show one kind of behavior or the other. Some researchers believe that Allosaurus may have hunted in small groups from time to time. Others think it probably hunted alone and only gathered with other Allosaurus when food was easy to find. There are also scientists who believe that its behavior may have changed depending on its age, the season, or the kind of prey that was available. One of the strongest reasons why some scientists think Allosaurus may have hunted in groups comes from places where many Allosaurus fossils have been found together. In some fossil sites, the bones of several Allosaurus have been discovered in the same area. At first, this may seem to suggest that they lived and hunted together. If many animals die in the same place, it can sometimes mean they spent time together while they were alive. One famous fossil site has produced the remains of many Allosaurus individuals. The site also contains bones from many plant-eating dinosaurs. This has caused scientists to wonder whether several Allosaurus came together while feeding on large dinosaur bodies. If many predators were eating from the same dead animal, some of them might have become trapped or died in the same place. This idea does not necessarily mean they hunted together. It could simply mean they gathered where food was available. Some scientists point out that large meat-eating animals often come together when there is a great amount of food. Even if they normally live alone, they may still gather around a large animal that has died. Each animal wants a chance to eat. This behavior does not require teamwork. It only requires food that is large enough to attract many hungry animals. The fossil evidence from these bone beds can be understood in different ways. Some researchers see the many Allosaurus fossils as a sign of group living. Others believe that the animals simply arrived at different times and died for different reasons. Floods, mud, drought, or other natural events may have caused their bones to end up together over many years. Another important clue comes from the injuries found on Allosaurus skeletons. Many fossils show broken bones that later healed. This means the dinosaur survived serious injuries. Some scientists believed that injured Allosaurus may have needed help from other members of their kind if they were unable to hunt on their own for a time. If another Allosaurus shared food with an injured individual, this could suggest some level of social behavior. Other scientists disagree with this idea. They believe that even badly injured Allosaurus could still find food without help. An injured predator might eat animals that were already dead, attack smaller prey, or wait until it had healed enough to hunt larger animals again. Because of this, healed injuries do not prove that the dinosaur received help from others. Some injuries also suggest that Allosaurus fought with members of its own species. Bite marks on skulls and other bones show that these dinosaurs sometimes attacked one another. These fights may have happened over food, territory, or mates. Such behavior is common in many living animals. Fighting with members of the same species does not rule out group hunting. Animals can work together at one time and compete at another. The size of the prey hunted by Allosaurus also plays a part in this discussion. Some of the plant-eating dinosaurs living during the Late Jurassic period were very large. Stegosaurus, Camarasaurus, Diplodocus, and Apatosaurus shared the same environment. Adult members of some of these species were extremely heavy. Bringing down a healthy adult would have been difficult for a single predator. Because of this, some researchers think several Allosaurus may have worked together to attack large prey. If many predators surrounded one animal, they might have had a better chance of causing enough injuries to weaken it. Each Allosaurus could bite at different times while avoiding the powerful tail or feet of the prey. Not every scientist agrees with this idea. Large plant-eating dinosaurs also had young individuals that were much smaller than fully grown adults. An Allosaurus may have focused on younger, older, sick, or injured animals rather than healthy adults. A single predator would have had a much better chance against weaker prey. This would reduce the need for teamwork. Fossils of young plant-eating dinosaurs have been found in areas where Allosaurus lived. These smaller animals would have been easier to catch. Young dinosaurs may not have had the strength, speed, or experience needed to escape a skilled hunter. This means that one Allosaurus could have found enough food without needing help. The shape of the Allosaurus body also provides clues. It had long and powerful legs that allowed it to move quickly. Its strong neck supported a large head filled with sharp teeth. The arms were short but had large claws that may have helped hold struggling prey. All these features made it a dangerous hunter that could attack effectively by itself. Scientists who support the idea of lone hunting often point to these body features. They argue that Allosaurus had everything it needed to catch prey alone. Speed, strong jaws, sharp teeth, and powerful legs could have allowed it to succeed without depending on others. On the other hand, having the ability to hunt alone does not prevent an animal from hunting with others when it is useful. Some living predators are fully capable of catching food by themselves, but still choose to work together in certain situations. This possibility keeps the discussion open among researchers studying Allosaurus. Ancient footprints may also provide useful information. In some places, several dinosaur footprints move in the same direction. If these footprints belong to animals of the same species, they may suggest that the dinosaurs traveled together. However, footprints are difficult to interpret. Different animals may have walked across the same area hours, days, or even longer apart. The tracks only show where feet touched the ground, not exactly what happened. No footprint site has clearly proven that Allosaurus hunted together in an organized group. Even if several individuals walked in the same direction, they may have simply been moving toward water, food, or another important place. Travel together does not always mean hunting together. The The size of Allosaurus was one of the main reasons it became one of the best-known meat-eating dinosaurs from the late Jurassic period. It was a large land predator, with a body that allowed it to hunt, travel and survive across wide areas filled with many kinds of plant-eating dinosaurs. Even though it lived millions of years before humans appeared, scientists have learned a great deal about its body by studying fossil bones collected from many places. These fossils have helped experts understand how large it was, how much it probably weighed, how its muscles worked, and how its body supported an active hunting life. An adult Allosaurus usually reached a length of about 28 to 34 feet from the tip of its nose to the end of its tail. Some of the biggest known individuals may have grown even longer, reaching close to 40 feet. Not every Allosaurus reached the same size because living animals also show differences between one individual and another. Some animals grow larger because they have better access to food, while others remain smaller because of their environment, health, or age. Young Allosaurus individuals were much shorter and lighter than fully grown adults. They slowly increased in size over many years as their bones, muscles, and other body parts developed. The weight of Allosaurus has also been estimated by studying its bones and creating computer models. Many adult individuals probably weighed between 1 and 2 tons. Larger animals may have weighed even more. Scientists cannot place a living Allosaurus on a scale, so they use information from fossil bones, body shape, and muscle size to estimate its weight. These estimates continue to improve as more fossils are discovered and new methods are developed. Even though different studies sometimes suggest slightly different weights, all of them show that Allosaurus was a very heavy animal, with enough strength to overpower large prey. Its body was built in a way that balanced strength with movement. It did not have an extremely wide body. Instead, it had a deep chest, a strong backbone, powerful hips, and long hind legs. This body shape helped it move across open land while carrying a heavy frame. The skeleton provided support for large muscles that controlled walking, running, turning, and attacking. Every major part of its body worked together to allow it to survive as a large predator. The skull of Allosaurus was large but not unusually heavy. Scientists believed that the skull contained many openings that reduced its weight while still keeping enough strength for biting. These openings also created space for muscles and other soft tissues. A lighter skull would have allowed the head to move more quickly during hunting. Even though the skull was lighter than it appeared, it remained strong enough to hold many sharp teeth that could tear into flesh. The jaws of Allosaurus were one of its most important hunting tools. They could open very wide, giving the dinosaur the ability to bite into large animals. The jaw muscles were powerful enough to grip struggling prey. Scientists believe that Allosaurus may not have depended only on crushing force. Instead, it probably used repeated bites that caused deep cuts. This method would have allowed it to weaken prey over time. Its sharp teeth played a major role in this feeding style. The teeth of Allosaurus were curved and had small edges that helped cut through meat. These teeth were not made for chewing food. Instead, they were designed to grip, tear, and remove pieces of flesh. Some teeth broke while feeding or attacking prey, but new teeth grew to replace them. This process happened throughout much of the dinosaur's life. The ability to replace damaged teeth was very useful for an active predator that regularly hunted large animals. The neck of Allosaurus was shorter than its long tail but remained thick and muscular. Strong neck muscles supported the heavy head and allowed the animal to move its skull during attacks. These muscles also helped pull meat from the bodies of dead animals during feeding. Large neck muscles attached to strong bones at the back of the skull and along the neck. fossil evidence shows that these attachment areas were well developed, suggesting that the neck was capable of producing powerful movements. The backbone extended from the neck through the body and into the tail, each vertebra connected with the next, creating a flexible but stable structure. Strong ligaments and muscles supported the backbone and allowed controlled movement. This support was necessary because the dinosaur carried a heavy body while walking, running, and turning. The backbone also protected the spinal cord, which carried messages between the brain and the rest of the body. The chest area held important organs such as the heart and lungs. The ribs formed a protective cage around these organs while still allowing space for breathing. Although soft tissues are rarely preserved in fossils, scientists study the shape of the rib cage to estimate the size and position of the organs inside. A healthy heart and efficient lungs would have been necessary to supply oxygen and nutrients to the large muscles that powered the animal's movements. The shoulders of Allosaurus supported its forelimbs. Although the arms were much shorter than the hind legs, they were not weak. Each arm ended with 3 fingers, and each finger carried a large curved claw. These claws could grip prey, hold on to struggling animals, or help during feeding. The muscles attached to the shoulders and upper arms gave these limbs surprising strength despite their limited length. The forelimbs had bones that were thick enough to handle powerful forces. The upper arm bone connected to the shoulder, while the lower arm bones supported the wrist and hand. Strong joints allowed the arms to move in useful ways during hunting. Even though the arms could not reach far in front of the body, they were well suited for grabbing objects close to the chest. The claws on the hands were long, sharp, and strongly curved. Fossil evidence suggests that these claws remained important throughout the life of Allosaurus. They may have helped hold prey while the jaws delivered repeated bites. The claws could also have been useful when pulling apart carcasses during feeding. Because the claws were attached to powerful muscles, they could apply considerable force. The hind legs were much longer than the forelimbs. These legs carried almost all of the animal's body weight. Large muscles connected the hips, thighs, lower legs, and feet. The thigh muscles generated much of the power needed for walking and running. The lower legs helped control movement, while the feet supported the animal on the ground. Each foot had several toes, but the middle toes carried most of the weight. Strong claws on the toes improved grip on different types of ground. Fossil footprints believed to belong to large meat-eating dinosaurs show that these animals walked with balanced steps supported by their toes rather than placing the entire foot flat on the ground. This walking style may have helped improve movement and speed. The hips formed one of the strongest parts of the skeleton. The hip bones connected the backbone to the hind legs and transferred the force produced by the leg muscles. Strong hip joints allowed Allosaurus to support its heavy body while moving across different landscapes. These joints also absorbed stress created during walking, running, and attacking prey. The pelvis contained large attachment areas for muscles. These muscles powered the hind legs and helped maintain balance. Scientists often study the pelvis to understand how extinct animals moved because the shape of this region provides valuable information about muscle size and body support. In Allosaurus, the pelvis shows clear evidence of powerful muscles that contributed to active movement. The tail of Allosaurus was very long and made up nearly half of its total body length. It contained many vertebrae connected by muscles, tendons, and ligaments. The tail acted as an important part of the body's balance system. As the heavy head extended forward, the long tail stretched behind the hips, helping distribute body weight more evenly. This arrangement reduced strain on the legs and allowed smoother movement. Large muscles at the base of the tail connected to the hind legs. These muscles played an important role in walking and running. The tail itself did not simply follow behind the body without purpose. It remained active during movement, helping maintain stability while the dinosaur changed direction or adjusted its position. The skin of Allosaurus is not completely understood because well-preserved skin fossils are extremely rare. However, some fossil impressions suggest that much of the body was covered with scales. These scales may have varied in size across different parts of the body. Larger scales could have appeared in some areas, while smaller scales covered others. The skin protected the muscles and organs beneath it from injury and the environment. Scientists have not found strong evidence showing that Allosaurus had feathers covering its entire body. Some distant relatives of meat-eating dinosaurs later developed feathers, but current evidence does not clearly show that adult Allosaurus possessed a full feather covering. As new discoveries continue to appear, scientists remain open to learning more about the outer appearance of this dinosaur. The muscles of Allosaurus cannot be seen directly because soft tissues usually disappear long before fossils form. Scientists rebuild these muscles by examining the places where muscles attach to bones. Modern animals such as birds and crocodiles provide additional information because they share ancient connections with dinosaurs. By combining these sources of evidence, researchers can estimate the size and shape of the muscles that once covered the skeleton. The leg muscles were especially large because they powered movement. Thick muscles around the hips and thighs generated force for walking, running, and sudden changes in direction. Smaller muscles controlled the joints and helped maintain balance. Together, these muscles allowed the animal to move efficiently despite its heavy weight. The muscles of the neck supported the head during feeding and hunting. They also allowed rapid movements when biting prey. Muscle attachment areas on the skull and neck vertebrae show that these muscles were highly developed. Strong neck muscles also reduce stress on the bones during powerful movements. The jaw muscles connected the lower jaw to the skull. These muscles controlled opening and closing of the mouth. Strong muscles allowed the jaws to grip prey firmly. Even if the bite force was not the strongest among large meat-eating dinosaurs, the combination of sharp teeth, repeated biting, and neck movement created an effective hunting system. The bones of Allosaurus were built to support a large body while avoiding unnecessary weight. Some bones contained air spaces that reduced mass without greatly reducing strength. This feature helped keep the skeleton lighter than solid bone would have been. Lighter bones made movement easier, while still providing enough support for large muscles. Bone tissue also records information about growth. By cutting thin sections from fossil bones and examining them under microscopes, scientists can see growth rings similar to those found in trees. These rings provide clues about how quickly the dinosaur grew during different periods of its life. Evidence suggests that young Allosaurus experienced years of rapid growth before reaching full adult size. Growth did not happen at exactly the same speed every year. Food availability, climate, health, and other conditions probably affected growth rates. During years with abundant food, young animals may have gained size more quickly. During difficult periods, growth may have slowed. These changes became recorded within the bone tissue. Young Allosaurus looked different from adults in several ways. They had smaller skulls, lighter bodies, and thinner bones. Their muscles were still developing, and they probably hunted smaller prey that matched their size. As they matured, the skull became larger, the muscles became stronger, and the body grew heavier. These changes allowed older individuals to hunt increasingly larger animals. Older adults reached their greatest body size after many years of growth. Their bones became thicker and the muscle attachment areas became more pronounced. Large adults probably possessed greater strength than younger animals because they had fully developed skeletons and muscles. Their increased size also made them more capable of defending themselves and competing for food. Not every fossil represents the largest possible Allosaurus. Some skeletons belong to young animals, while others belong to adults that had not reached maximum size. This natural variation explains why scientists report different lengths and weights for different fossil discoveries. Instead of one exact size, Allosaurus existed across a range of body sizes throughout its life. Scientists have discovered many Allosaurus fossils at sites where several individuals were buried. These collections provide opportunities to study body size across different ages. By examining smaller and larger skeletons together, researchers gain a clearer understanding of growth patterns from youth to adulthood. One of the most famous fossil sites is the Cleveland Lloyd Dinosaur Quarry in what is now the western United States. Many Allosaurus bones have been found there, allowing scientists to study numerous individuals instead of relying on a single skeleton. These discoveries have greatly increased knowledge about the body's structure, growth, and variation. The bones from these fossil sites show that injuries were common. Some skeletons contain healed broken bones, damaged ribs, injured feet, or signs of infection. The healing indicates that many injured individuals survived for extended periods after receiving their injuries. A strong body and healthy bone repair system likely helped these animals continue living after accidents or hunting wounds. The shoulders, hips, and legs often show signs of heavy use. This is expected in a large predator that depended on physical activity to find food. Repeated stress from movement, hunting, and carrying heavy body weight left marks on some bones. These signs help scientists understand how the skeleton functioned during life. The feet supported the full weight of the body during every step. Thick bones, strong joints, and large muscles worked together to prevent injury while walking across uneven ground. Fossil footprints suggest that large meat-eating dinosaurs maintained steady movement over long distances. Each step required careful coordination between the legs, hips, backbone, and tail. Balance was essential for such a large animal. The head projected forward while the tail extended behind the hips. This body arrangement helped distribute weight in a stable way. Strong muscles constantly adjusted body position during movement. Even small changes in direction required coordination throughout the entire body. The brain of Allosaurus was much smaller than the rest of its body, but it controlled all movement, balance, hunting behavior, and body functions. The skull protected the brain, while openings allowed nerves to reach different parts of the body. Information traveled through the spinal cord and nerves to muscles that produced movement. The eyes were positioned to give the animal a good view of the area in front of its head. This forward vision may have helped judge distance while approaching prey. Good eyesight would have been valuable for detecting movement across open landscapes where many plant-eating dinosaurs lived. The ears were located behind the eyes, protected within the skull. Although soft ear structures are not preserved, the bones suggest that Allosaurus could detect sounds in its surroundings. Hearing would have helped locate prey, recognize danger, and communicate if interactions occurred with other members of its species. The nose contained openings that allowed air to enter the breathing system. Scientists also believe that the sense of smell played an important role. A good sense of smell would have helped locate carcasses as well as living prey. Air passing through the nasal passages reached tissues that detected different scents. The heart had to pump blood through a very large body. Although the heart itself has not been preserved, Its size can be estimated from the overall body structure. A strong heart would have supplied oxygen and nutrients to large muscles during active movement. Blood circulation also helped regulate body functions throughout the animal. The lungs provided oxygen needed for survival. Some researchers believe that large meat-eating dinosaurs may have possessed efficient breathing systems that supplied oxygen effectively during activity. Certain features of the bones suggest the possible presence of air sacs connected to the lungs, although the exact details continue to be studied. Energy requirements increased as body size increased. A large predator needed substantial amounts of food to maintain its muscles and body functions. After successful hunts, Allosaurus may have eaten large quantities of meat. The digestive system processed this food and supplied nutrients needed for growth, repair, and daily activity. The stomach and intestines have not been preserved in fossils, but scientists estimate their size by examining the space inside the rib cage and body cavity. These organs would have broken down food, absorbed nutrients, and removed waste products. Efficient digestion helped support the demands of a large active body. Body temperature remains an area of scientific research. Many experts believe that large meat-eating dinosaurs maintained body temperatures that allowed active movement. Their large size may also have helped reduce rapid changes in body temperature. Research into dinosaur growth, bone structure, and metabolism continues to provide new information about this subject. The strength of Allosaurus came from the combined work of its skeleton, muscles, joints, and internal organs. None of these body systems worked alone. Every movement depended on cooperation between bones, muscles, nerves, blood vessels, and organs. This coordination allowed the dinosaur to walk, hunt, feed, grow, heal from injuries, and survive in its environment. Even after death, these strong bones of Allosaurus remained buried for millions of years before becoming fossils. These fossilized remains now provide scientists with valuable evidence about the animal's size, weight, and powerful body. Each newly discovered skeleton adds more information, allowing researchers to improve their understanding of how this large Jurassic predator was built and how its body functioned throughout its life. Allosaurus had a mouth filled with sharp teeth that played a major part in the way it hunted and fed. Every part of its head was built to help it catch prey, bite into flesh, and remove large pieces of meat from an animal's body. Scientists have studied many skulls and teeth found in different fossil sites, and these discoveries have helped them understand how this dinosaur lived. The shape of the skull, the size of the jaws, the arrangement of the teeth, and the strength of the neck all work together during hunting. These features made Allosaurus one of the most successful meat-eating dinosaurs of the late Jurassic period. The teeth of Allosaurus were long, pointed, and slightly curved backward. This shape helped the teeth stay inside the body of an animal after a bite. Instead of sliding out easily, the curved shape helped hold onto flesh, while the dinosaur pulled its head backward. The backward curve also reduced the chance that struggling prey could escape after being bitten. Each tooth ended in a very sharp point that could cut deeply into skin and muscle. The edges of the teeth had tiny saw-like points called serrations. These small cutting edges helped the teeth slice through meat more easily. As the jaws closed and the head moved, the serrations cut into flesh and opened deeper wounds. This allowed Allosaurus to remove pieces of meat quickly. The cutting edges also helped damage muscles and blood vessels, making it harder for injured animals to escape. The teeth were not all exactly the same size. Larger teeth were found near the front and middle parts of the jaws, while some smaller teeth were located farther back. This arrangement helped the dinosaur grip prey with the front teeth, while the larger teeth made deeper cuts. Every tooth had a specific place inside the mouth, giving the jaws an effective cutting pattern. The teeth of Allosaurus were replaced throughout its life. Like many other meat-eating dinosaurs, it did not keep the same teeth forever. Hunting large animals placed great pressure on the teeth, and some broke during feeding. Others became worn after repeated use. New teeth slowly developed beneath the old ones. When an old tooth fell out, a new one moved into place. This continuous replacement helped keep the mouth filled with sharp cutting tools. Scientists have found fossil jaws showing replacement teeth growing below older teeth. These discoveries show that Allosaurus was always preparing new teeth before the old ones were lost. This natural process helped prevent long periods without important teeth. The dinosaur could continue hunting even after losing several teeth because new ones were already developing. The skull of Allosaurus was large but not extremely heavy. It contained many openings that reduced its weight while still keeping enough strength for hunting. These openings helped make the skull easier to move during fast attacks. A lighter skull also reduced the effort needed to swing the head during feeding. The bones of the skull were joined together in ways that allowed them to handle strong forces during biting. Some parts of the skull could absorb pressure, while other parts remained firm. This design reduced the chance of serious damage during powerful attacks. Scientists believe the skull balanced strength with flexibility, allowing the dinosaur to bite large animals without placing too much stress on a single bone. The upper jaw held many sharp teeth that lined both sides of the mouth. The lower jaw also carried a full row of teeth. When the jaws closed, the teeth fit together in a way that trapped flesh between them. This made it difficult for prey to pull free after being bitten. Even a quick bite could leave deep wounds. The jaw muscles attached to large areas on the skull. These muscles supplied the force needed to close the mouth rapidly. Strong muscles also allowed repeated biting during a hunt. Although some studies suggest that the bite itself may not have been the strongest among meat-eating dinosaurs, the combination of sharp teeth, neck movement, and repeated attacks made Allosaurus a highly effective hunter. The neck played an important part in the hunting process. Strong neck muscles allowed the head to move with force after the jaws closed. Instead of depending only on jaw pressure, Allosaurus could pull its head backward or downward while the teeth remained inside the prey. This movement increased the damage caused by each bite. The teeth acted as cutting tools, while the neck supplied additional power. The neck bones supported these movements without becoming too heavy. Powerful muscles connected the neck to the shoulders and upper back. These muscles helped lift the head after each bite and prepared the dinosaur for another attack. Strong neck muscles also helped when carrying large pieces of meat away from a carcass. The shape of the head allowed good forward vision. The eyes faced more toward the front than toward the sides. This arrangement gave Allosaurus better depth perception. Being able to judge distance accurately helped during attacks on moving prey. The dinosaur needed to know when it was close enough to strike, and forward-facing eyes made this task easier. The nose contained openings that allowed the animal to breathe while holding prey. Its sense of smell may also have helped locate food. Many meat-eating dinosaurs likely depended on smell to find dead animals as well as living prey. A strong sense of smell could lead an Allosaurus toward fresh carcasses or injured animals that were easier to catch. The jaws could open widely, allowing the dinosaur to bite different parts of large animals. A wide gape made it easier to attack thick body areas such as the neck, shoulder, or upper leg. Once the teeth entered the flesh, the head and neck could work together to increase the depth of the wound. The lower jaw was built to withstand repeated movement during feeding. Every time the mouth opened and closed, the jawbones handled pressure from muscles and struggling prey. Strong joints connected the lower jaw to the skull, allowing smooth movement while keeping the jaws stable during biting. Some fossil skulls show healed injuries, suggesting that Allosaurus sometimes survived serious accidents involving its head. Broken bones that later healed show that these dinosaurs could recover from injuries received during hunting or from fights with other Allosaurus individuals. Even after suffering damage, many continued living long enough for bones to heal. Scientists have also discovered broken teeth embedded inside fossil bones belonging to prey animals. These findings provide direct evidence that Allosaurus attacked large dinosaurs. When a tooth broke during a bite, it sometimes remained inside the injured animal. Replacement teeth later grew in the hunter's mouth, allowing it to continue hunting. The front part of the snout was narrow enough to reach into spaces between bones while feeding. This helped remove meat that was difficult to reach. The shape of the head also allowed the dinosaur to feed from different angles without needing to move its entire body. The muscles around the jaw and neck likely became stronger as the dinosaur matured. Young Allosaurus probably hunted smaller animals while their bodies continued growing. As they reached adulthood, their stronger muscles, larger skulls, and longer teeth allowed them to attack much larger prey. These physical changes increased their hunting ability over time. Every hunting trip placed stress on the skull, teeth, and neck. Large prey struggled to escape, kicked with powerful legs, and swung heavy tails. Allosaurus needed strong bones and muscles to survive these dangerous encounters. Fossils showing healed ribs, damaged skull bones, and injured limbs suggest that hunting was often risky. The teeth were covered with hard enamel that protected them during biting. Even with this protection, heavy use gradually wore down the cutting edges. The continuous replacement of teeth solved this problem. As fresh teeth appeared, they restored the mouth's ability to cut efficiently. The roots of the teeth extended deeply into the jawbones. Deep roots helped keep each tooth firmly attached during powerful bites. Without strong roots, teeth would have fallen out too easily during struggles with prey. The secure attachment allowed the teeth to handle repeated stress before eventually being replaced. The inside of the skull contained spaces for nerves and blood vessels that supplied the jaws and teeth. Healthy blood flow supported growing replacement teeth, while nerves helped the dinosaur detect pressure during biting. Feeling resistance inside the jaws may have helped Allosaurus adjust its bite while feeding. The outer surface of the skull contained rough areas where muscles and skin attached. These attachment points helped secure the powerful muscles needed for hunting. Every muscle had an important role in moving the head, opening the mouth, closing the jaws, or supporting the neck. Scientists continue studying fossil skulls using modern scanning methods. These studies reveal the internal structure of the bones without damaging valuable fossils. Digital models help researchers understand how the skull handled pressure during feeding. Computer studies also allow scientists to estimate muscle size and jaw movement. Different Allosaurus fossils show small differences in tooth shape and skull size. Some differences may reflect age, while others may result from individual variation. Larger adults usually had more heavily built skulls than younger individuals. Even with these differences, the main hunting features remained the same throughout the species. The mouth of Allosaurus served as its primary hunting weapon. Every part of the head supported the task of catching prey, tearing flesh, and eating large amounts of meat. Sharp teeth, powerful jaws, flexible neck muscles, strong skull bones, and constant tooth replacement formed a complete hunting system that allowed Allosaurus to survive in the ecosystems of the Late Jurassic period. Allosaurus was a meat-eating dinosaur that lived during the Late Jurassic period. It depended on hunting and feeding on other animals to survive. Every part of its body supported this way of life. Its sharp teeth, powerful jaws, strong neck, long legs, and large claws all helped it find, catch, kill, and eat prey. Fossils, bite marks, broken bones, and the places where Allosaurus remains have been found give scientists many clues about the kinds of animals it ate. The land where Allosaurus lived was filled with many different kinds of dinosaurs and other animals. Some were very small, while others were among the biggest animals ever to walk on land. This gave Allosaurus many possible food choices. It did not depend on only one kind of prey. Instead, it probably hunted whatever animal gave it the best chance of getting enough food while staying alive. Many scientists believe that one of the most common prey animals for Allosaurus was Camptosaurus. This plant-eating dinosaur was much smaller than many of the giant, long-necked dinosaurs that lived during the same time. Camptosaurus moved on both 2 and 4 legs, depending on what it was doing. It spent much of its time eating low-growing plants. Since it was smaller and less heavily protected than many other large plant eaters, it would have been an easier target for a hungry Allosaurus. A healthy adult Allosaurus may have followed groups of Camptosaurus until it found one that was separated from the others. Young animals, old animals, injured animals, or sick animals would have been easier to catch than healthy adults. Once it got close enough, Allosaurus could rush forward using its strong legs. Its jaws would open wide, allowing its sharp teeth to bite into the prey. The teeth could tear through skin and flesh, causing serious injuries that weakened the animal. Another dinosaur that was likely hunted by Allosaurus was Dryosaurus. This dinosaur was smaller than Camptosaurus and was built for speed. Dryosaurus could run quickly across open ground, making it difficult to catch. Even so, speed alone could not always protect it. Young Dryosaurus or animals trapped by rough ground or thick plants could become easy targets. Allosaurus probably watched carefully before making its attack instead of chasing every animal it saw. Stegosaurus is one of the most famous dinosaurs that lived beside Allosaurus. It carried large plates along its back and had a tail with long spikes. Those spikes were powerful weapons that could cause serious injuries. Even though Stegosaurus was dangerous, there is evidence that Allosaurus sometimes attacked it. Fossils of Stegosaurus have been found with bite marks that match the teeth of Allosaurus. Scientists have also found an Allosaurus bone with damage that may have been caused by the tail spikes of a Stegosaurus. These discoveries suggest that fights between the two dinosaurs sometimes happened. An Allosaurus trying to attack a healthy adult Stegosaurus faced great danger. One strike from the spiked tail could break bones or leave deep wounds. Because of this risk, Allosaurus may have preferred to attack younger Stegosaurus or adults that were already weak or injured. It also may have waited until the right moment before moving in to bite. One of the largest animals that shared the same land with Allosaurus was Apatosaurus. This huge, long-necked dinosaur weighed many times more than an adult Allosaurus. At first, it may seem impossible that Allosaurus could attack such a giant. However, scientists have found bite marks from Allosaurus on Apatosaurus bones. These marks show that Allosaurus definitely fed on these animals at least some of the time. The bite marks alone cannot always prove whether the dinosaur was hunted while alive or eaten after it had already died. Both situations would have provided food. A dead Apatosaurus would have supplied enough meat to feed many Allosaurus for several days. If a large dinosaur died from disease, injury, old age, or another cause, meat-eating dinosaurs would have quickly gathered around the body to feed. Some scientists think that groups of Allosaurus may sometimes have attacked very large sauropods like Apatosaurus, especially younger individuals that had not yet reached their full size. Young sauropods were much smaller than fully grown adults and were easier to bring down. Adults protected their young whenever possible, but young animals could still become separated from the group. Diplodocus was another giant, long-necked dinosaur that lived in the same environment. Like Apatosaurus, it reached a great size. Bite marks matching the teeth of Allosaurus have also been found on Diplodocus fossils. This shows that Diplodocus was another source of food. Whether these marks came from hunting or feeding on dead animals depends on the individual fossil, and cannot always be known with certainty. Young Diplodocus probably faced the greatest danger. During the early years of life, they were much smaller than the adults. Growing dinosaurs needed many years before reaching their largest size. During this time, they were more likely to become prey for large meat-eating dinosaurs. Allosaurus may have watched for young sauropods that moved away from the protection of older animals. Camarasaurus also lived during the same period and is another dinosaur linked to Allosaurus through fossil evidence. Bite marks found on Camarasaurus bones suggest that these giant plant eaters were another food source. Camarasaurus had a heavy body and strong build. Healthy adults would have been difficult to attack, but younger animals or those weakened by sickness or injury offered better opportunities. Scientists studying the famous Morrison Formation in North America have found fossils of Allosaurus together with the remains of many plant-eating dinosaurs. This ancient rock formation preserves one of the richest collections of late Jurassic animals in the world. The large number of Allosaurus fossils found there suggests that it was one of the most common large meat-eating dinosaurs in its environment. Living alongside so many different plant eaters meant that Allosaurus probably changed its hunting choices depending on what was available. During some seasons, young dinosaurs may have been more common. At other times, drought, flooding, or disease may have caused more animals to die, providing opportunities for feeding without hunting. Young dinosaurs of many different species were likely important food sources. Newly hatched dinosaurs were very small and had little protection. Even after growing for several years, many young dinosaurs remained much easier to catch than adults. A growing Allosaurus may have focused on these smaller animals because they required less energy and carried less danger. Adult Allosaurus probably hunted alone much of the time, although some scientists think groups may have worked together on certain occasions. Fossil sites where many Allosaurus skeletons were found together have raised questions about their behavior. Some experts suggest these dinosaurs may have gathered around large animal bodies to feed. Others think they may have hunted together at times. The evidence does not fully settle this question. If several Allosaurus fed from the same dead animal, fights may have broken out over the meat. Sharp teeth and strong jaws made them dangerous not only to prey, but also to one another. Bite marks found on Allosaurus bones show that individuals sometimes bit members of their own species. These injuries may have happened during feeding disputes, territorial conflicts, or mating competition. Allosaurus probably swallowed large pieces of meat instead of chewing them into tiny pieces. Its teeth were made for gripping and tearing rather than grinding food. After tearing away chunks of flesh, it could swallow them whole. Strong stomach acids would then help break down the meat during digestion. Bones sometimes became part of a meal. While Allosaurus mainly ate flesh, pieces of bone may have been swallowed by accident while feeding. Smaller bones could be broken apart by the bite. Larger bones might be left behind after most of the meat had been removed. The skull of Allosaurus was built in a way that allowed some movement between certain bones. Scientists think this helped reduce stress while biting and pulling at struggling prey. The neck muscles also played an important role. After biting into an animal, powerful neck muscles helped tear away flesh. The hands of Allosaurus had 3 large fingers with curved claws. These claws may have helped hold struggling prey, while the jaws delivered repeated bites. Although the jaws were the main hunting tool, the arms probably supported the attack by keeping prey from escaping. Vision was also important during hunting. The eyes faced partly forward, giving Allosaurus good depth perception. This helped it judge distances while moving toward prey. Accurate distance judgment increased the chances of making a successful attack without wasting energy. The sense of smell probably helped Allosaurus find food. Meat has a strong smell, especially when an animal has died. A good sense of smell would allow Allosaurus to locate carcasses from far away. This meant it did not always have to depend only on hunting live animals. Scavenging was likely an important part of its feeding habits. A scavenger eats animals that have already died. Many living meat-eating animals both hunt and scavenge depending on the opportunity. Scientists think Allosaurus probably did the same. Finding an already dead dinosaur required less effort and carried less risk than attacking a healthy adult prey animal. Dead animals attracted many different meat-eaters: smaller predators, early mammals, crocodile relatives, insects, and other animals also fed on carcasses. When Allosaurus arrived at a large dead dinosaur, smaller animals probably moved away because of its size and strength. Large carcasses became busy feeding places where many different animals gathered. Weather also affected food supplies. Dry periods may have reduced the amount of plant growth, making life harder for plant-eating dinosaurs. Weak animals were easier for predators to catch. Floods could also kill animals or separate young dinosaurs from their groups. Every environmental change affected which prey became available. The growth of young Allosaurus influenced what they ate. Newly hatched individuals were far too small to hunt large dinosaurs. They probably began by eating insects, small reptiles, tiny mammals, and other small animals they could catch. As they grew larger and stronger, they slowly moved to bigger prey. Teenage Allosaurus likely hunted animals that matched their own size. Medium-sized plant eaters gave them enough food without exposing them to the dangers of attacking huge dinosaurs. Only after reaching adulthood could they safely attempt larger prey. Older Allosaurus may have changed their feeding habits again. Injuries, worn teeth, or reduced strength could make hunting difficult. These older animals may have depended more on scavenging than younger adults. Feeding on dead animals allowed them to survive without taking the risks of difficult hunts. Scientists study bite marks very carefully because they reveal valuable information about feeding behavior. The shape, depth, and spacing of tooth marks can often identify the predator that made them. In many fossils, the spacing matches the teeth of Allosaurus very closely. This helps connect the predator with particular prey species. Sometimes bite marks show signs of healing. A healed bite means the prey survived the attack for some time before later dying from another cause or recovering. These fossils show that not every hunt ended successfully. Some prey escaped after being bitten. In other fossils, bite marks appear on bones without any healing. This may mean the animal died during the attack, or that the marks were made after death while the predator fed on the body. Scientists examine each fossil carefully before reaching conclusions. Large sauropods probably protected one another whenever possible. Adults may have stayed close to younger animals while moving or feeding. This protection reduced the chances of successful attacks by predators. Even so, accidents happened. Young dinosaurs could become lost, injured, or trapped in muddy ground, making them easier targets. Some scientists think Allosaurus preferred attacking the sides of large prey, where softer tissues were easier to reach. Others believe repeated bites weakened prey through blood loss. The sharp teeth created deep cuts that damaged muscles and blood vessels. As the prey became weaker, the predator could continue attacking until it could no longer escape. The teeth of Allosaurus were shaped with sharp edges that helped slice through flesh. They were not flat or broad for crushing plants. New teeth continued growing throughout life. When one tooth broke or fell out during feeding, another gradually replaced it. This constant replacement helped keep the jaws ready for hunting. Broken teeth have been found among dinosaur fossils. Losing teeth during feeding was probably common. Because replacements continued growing, broken teeth usually did not create long-term problems. Strong leg muscles helped Allosaurus close the distance between itself and prey. Although it may not have been able to keep up with the fastest animals over long distances, short bursts of speed probably helped it during attacks. Careful timing was likely more important than long chases. The tail played an important role while hunting. It helped balance the body during running and quick turns. Good balance allowed Allosaurus to stay on its feet while changing direction after moving prey. Water sources were important hunting places. Rivers, lakes, and ponds attracted many plant-eating dinosaurs because they needed regular access to drinking water. Predators often visited these same places because prey gathered there in large numbers. Waiting near water may have increased the chances of finding food. Open areas offered another opportunity. Plant-eating dinosaurs feeding in open spaces were easier to see from a distance. Thick forests provided more hiding places, making hunting more difficult. Allosaurus probably moved between different habitats, depending on where prey was most likely to be found. Seasonal changes influenced animal movements. During dry times, many plant-eaters may have gathered around the remaining water sources. This brought large numbers of possible prey into smaller areas. Predators benefited from these gatherings because they spent less time searching for food. Disease also affected survival. Sick animals often moved more slowly and became separated from healthy groups. These weakened individuals became easier targets. Predators naturally focused on animals that required less effort to capture. Injured prey faced similar dangers. A broken leg, infected wound, or other injury reduced the ability to escape. Fossils sometimes preserve signs of healed injuries, showing that dinosaurs often survived accidents for long periods before later becoming vulnerable to predators. Large carcasses supported many feeding events before all the meat disappeared. Allosaurus may have returned several times to the same body until little remained except bones. Different meat-eaters probably arrived at different times, each taking what food remained. Competition for food was part of daily life. Other meat-eating dinosaurs living in the same environment also searched for prey and carcasses. Each successful hunt reduced the amount of food available for others. This competition encouraged efficient feeding whenever food became available. Young Allosaurus probably learned hunting skills through experience. Practice improved timing, movement, and accuracy. Failed hunting attempts helped young predators understand which prey could be caught and which animals were too dangerous. Every successful hunt required energy. Running, attacking, and struggling with prey used great amounts of strength. A predator had to gain more energy from the meal than it spent during the hunt. Choosing the right prey helped increase the chances of survival. Scientists continue studying fossils from many different locations because every new discovery adds information about the feeding habits of Allosaurus. New bite marks, fossil skeletons, stomach contents, and bone injuries all help build a clearer picture of how this dinosaur lived. Some fossil sites preserve many bones from several species together. These locations may represent places where animals gathered around water, died during natural events, or became trapped over long periods. Allosaurus fossils found among these remains provide more evidence that it fed on a wide range of animals. Although giant plant-eating dinosaurs often receive much attention because of their size, medium-sized prey may actually have supplied much of the daily food for Allosaurus. Animals that were easier to catch provided regular meals with less danger than attacking the largest dinosaurs. Smaller animals also formed part of the diet whenever opportunities appeared. Lizards, early mammals, crocodile relatives, turtles, and other small creatures could all provide food, especially for younger individuals or adults needing a quick meal. These animals could often be caught without the risks involved in attacking large dinosaurs. Eggs may also have been eaten when nests were discovered. Dinosaur eggs contain nutrients needed for developing young, making them valuable food. Nests without adult protection would have been especially vulnerable. Newly hatched young dinosaurs found in or near nests could also become prey. The feeding behavior of Allosaurus shows that it was an active meat-eater, able to hunt many kinds of animals, while also taking advantage of already dead dinosaurs whenever the chance appeared. Its body was well suited for tearing flesh, gripping prey, locating food through sight and smell, and feeding from animals ranging from small reptiles to young plant-eating dinosaurs, and even the bodies of giant sauropods. Every new fossil discovery continues to add more details about the wide variety of prey that supported the life of one of the most successful large predators of the late Jurassic period. The climate in the world of Allosaurus was generally warm. There were no long periods of freezing weather in the places where it lived. The Earth during the Jurassic had higher temperatures than many places experience today. Ice at the poles was either very limited or completely absent. Because of this, warm conditions reached many parts of the planet. The warm climate helped plants grow over large areas. Thick vegetation covered river valleys and many low-lying regions. Trees, ferns, and other plants had enough warmth to continue growing for much of the year. This rich plant life provided food for many plant-eating dinosaurs. Those plant eaters then became an important food source for large, meat-eating animals, such as Allosaurus. Rainfall was not always the same throughout the year. Some seasons were wetter, while others were much drier. Rivers grew larger during rainy times and became smaller during dry periods. Lakes also changed in size depending on how much rain fell. Animals had to adjust their daily activities as water supplies changed from season to season. During dry periods, many animals gathered near rivers, streams, and lakes because these places still had water. Plant growth also remained better near these water sources. As many plant-eating dinosaurs moved closer to rivers, meat-eating dinosaurs also visited these areas more often. This made river valleys important places where hunting could happen. Floods sometimes changed the land. Heavy rainfall could cause rivers to overflow their banks. Water spread across the surrounding land, carrying mud, sand, rocks, broken branches, and dead plants. These floods helped shape the environment by creating new channels and leaving behind fresh soil that supported new plant growth. Some animals died during floods. Their bodies were quickly covered by layers of mud and sand. Over millions of years, These buried remains slowly turned into fossils. This natural process is one reason why scientists have found so many fossils from the Morrison Formation. Rapid burial protected bones from being scattered or destroyed. The forests of the Jurassic looked different from forests today. Flowering plants had not yet become the dominant form of vegetation. Instead, forests were filled with conifer trees, cycads, ginkgos, seed ferns, horsetails, mosses and many kinds of ferns. These plants formed thick green landscapes across many areas. Conifer trees were among the tallest plants in the Jurassic forests. They had needle-like leaves and produced seeds inside cones. These trees could survive in different kinds of soil and often formed large groups. Their height created shade underneath where many smaller plants were able to grow. Cycads were another common group of plants. They had thick trunks with long leaves growing from the top. At first glance they may appear similar to palm trees, but they belong to a different group of plants. Cycads grew in warm climates and were an important food source for some plant-eating dinosaurs. Ginkgo trees also lived during this period. They had broad leaves with a fan-like shape. Ginkgos have survived until today, making them one of the oldest groups of living trees on Earth. Their ancestors were already growing during the time when Allosaurus hunted across the Jurassic landscape. Ferns covered much of the ground beneath larger trees. They spread across moist areas and grew especially well near rivers and streams. Ferns did not produce seeds. Instead, they reproduced by releasing tiny spores. Thick patches of ferns gave shelter to small animals and insects. Horsetails were also common in wet places. They had hollow stems divided into sections and grew close to water. Some Jurassic horsetails became much taller than those found today. Their roots helped hold soil together along riverbanks. Mosses covered damp rocks, fallen trees, and moist soil. Although they were small, they formed soft green layers across many surfaces. Mosses helped keep moisture in the ground and supported tiny insects and other small creatures. Seed ferns were another important plant group during this time. Although they looked similar to true ferns, they produced seeds instead of spores. These plants had existed for millions of years and continued to be part of Jurassic forests. The large amount of plant life supported many kinds of plant-eating dinosaurs. Some fed on leaves growing high in trees. Others grazed on lower plants, ferns, and young shoots. Since different dinosaurs preferred different plants, many species were able to live in the same area without depending on exactly the same food. Huge long-necked dinosaurs wandered through these forests and open spaces. Apatosaurus, Diplodocus, Brachiosaurus, and Camarasaurus were among the largest animals living beside Allosaurus. These giant plant-eaters spent much of their time searching for enough food to support their enormous bodies. Apatosaurus used its long neck to reach vegetation growing above the ground. It likely moved across large areas each day while feeding. Because of its great size, an adult Apatosaurus had very few enemies. Young individuals, however, faced greater danger from predators. Diplodocus had a very long neck and an equally long tail. Its body was built for reaching wide areas of vegetation without moving very far. Large groups may have traveled together through parts of the landscape while searching for food and water. Brachiosaurus had longer front legs than its back legs. This body shape allowed it to reach leaves growing very high in trees. It fed in places where many shorter plant-eaters could not easily reach. This reduced competition for food among different plant-eating dinosaurs. Camarasaurus was another common giant in the Jurassic world. It had a shorter neck than some other long-necked dinosaurs, but possessed strong teeth suited for eating tough plants. Fossils of Camarasaurus are among the most common dinosaur remains found in the Morrison Formation. Smaller plant-eating dinosaurs also lived in the same environment. They fed on low-growing plants and moved quickly across the landscape. Their smaller size allowed them to escape danger by running through forests or hiding among thick vegetation. Stegosaurus was one of the most unusual plant-eaters, living alongside Allosaurus. It carried large plates along its back and spikes on its tail. The plates may have helped with body temperature or display, while the tail spikes served as powerful defensive weapons against predators. Many Stegosaurus fossils show injuries that later healed. This tells scientists that these animals survived serious attacks or accidents during their lives. Some Allosaurus fossils also contain injuries that may have happened while attacking well-defended prey, such as Stegosaurus. Dryosaurus was a smaller plant-eater with long legs built for speed. It probably depended on quick movement to avoid being caught. Dryosaurus fed on softer plants, growing close to the ground. Camptosaurus was another medium-sized plant-eater living in the same environment. It used strong jaws to bite leaves, stems, and other vegetation. Fossils suggest it was widespread across the Morrison ecosystem. Besides dinosaurs, many smaller reptiles lived throughout the Jurassic landscape. Lizards moved through forests and rocky areas, searching for insects and other food. Early turtles lived in rivers and lakes. Crocodile relatives hunted in water and sometimes waited near riverbanks for prey to approach. The rivers supported many fish species. Fish provided food for crocodile relatives and other water-dwelling animals. Some fish fed on insects while others ate smaller fish. These waterways formed active ecosystems full of life. Amphibians also lived near wetlands and streams. Frogs and salamander-like animals stayed close to water because their bodies depended on moist conditions. They fed on insects and small water creatures. Insects filled every part of the Jurassic environment. Beetles crawled through dead wood and leaf litter. Dragonflies flew above rivers and ponds. Flies, termites, and many other insects helped break down dead plants and animal remains. Their work returned nutrients to the soil, allowing new plants to grow. Spiders hunted insects among leaves, tree bark, and rocks. They played an important role by helping control insect numbers. Small reptiles and early mammals sometimes fed on spiders as well. Early mammals were already living during the Jurassic, although they were much smaller than the dinosaurs around them. Most were active at night. They searched for insects, seeds, fruits, and other small food sources while avoiding large predators. Their small size allowed them to hide in burrows, hollow logs, or thick vegetation. Birds had also begun to appear during this time. Some early birds still had teeth and long tails. They could glide or fly between trees while searching for insects and small animals. Their feathers helped with flight and body warmth. The skies were also occupied by flying reptiles known as pterosaurs. These animals were not dinosaurs. They had wings supported by an extremely long finger. Different species fed on fish, insects, or small animals. Some searched for food near rivers, while others flew over forests and open land. Many sounds filled the Jurassic world each day. Wind moved through the trees. Rivers flowed across the landscape. Insects buzzed among plants. Small animals called to each other. Large dinosaurs produced deep sounds while moving through forests and open spaces. The environment was active throughout the day and night. The smell of the Jurassic environment would also have been strong in many places. Wet soil, fresh plants, fallen leaves, standing water, animal droppings and decaying remains all produced different scents. Predators such as Allosaurus likely depended partly on their sense of smell to detect prey or locate animal carcasses. The ground itself was constantly changing. Trees fell during storms. Rivers changed direction over time. New plants grew where sunlight reached the forest floor. Dead plants slowly broke down and enriched the soil. Animals created trails as they traveled between feeding grounds and water sources. Volcanic activity happened in some parts of the world during the Jurassic. Volcanoes released ash and gases into the air. In certain regions, volcanic ash settled onto the land. Over long periods, these events became part of the rock layers that scientists study today. Earthquakes also occurred as the continents slowly shifted. These natural events changed landscapes by creating cracks, raising land, or altering river paths. Such changes happened slowly over many generations of animals. The length of daylight changed with the seasons, although the warm climate remained fairly steady in many places. Plants responded to these seasonal changes by growing new leaves, producing spores or seeds, and spreading across available land. Young plants appeared after rainy seasons when enough water reached the soil. Fresh growth attracted plant-eating dinosaurs. As these animals gathered to feed, predators often stayed nearby, watching for opportunities to hunt. Many animals migrated short distances in search of better food or water. During dry periods, some groups moved toward rivers that still flowed. During wetter times, they spread across larger areas where fresh plants had grown. Allosaurus had to understand its environment through experience. It needed to know where prey gathered, where water could still be found during dry seasons, and which areas offered good places for hunting. Knowledge of the landscape increased its chances of finding food. Rocky hills rose above lower valleys in some regions. These higher areas supported different plant communities, because water drained away more quickly. Valleys stayed greener since they collected more moisture from rainfall and rivers. Open plains allowed large herds of plant-eaters to move freely. Forest edges created places where predators could remain partly hidden before moving toward prey. Thick vegetation also gave smaller animals places to escape larger hunters. Many fallen trees became homes for insects, reptiles, amphibians, and early mammals. Rotting wood slowly broke down, returning nutrients to the soil. Fungi also helped decompose dead plant material, although they rarely left fossils. Water quality changed throughout the year. Fresh rainfall filled rivers with clean water. During dry seasons, smaller pools sometimes became muddy as animals gathered around them. Even so, these water sources remained essential for survival. Egg-laying was an important part of dinosaur life. Plant-eaters and meat-eaters both needed suitable nesting areas. Some likely chose sandy ground, while others preferred softer soil or areas protected by vegetation. Young dinosaurs faced many dangers after hatching, including attacks from predators. The survival of young animals depended on food, shelter, and protection. Smaller dinosaurs often stayed close to adults during their early lives. Fast growth increased their chances of reaching adulthood. Disease and injury affected Jurassic animals just as they affect animals today. Broken bones, infections, parasites, and illnesses sometimes reduced an animal's ability to survive. Fossils showing healed injuries reveal that many dinosaurs recovered from serious wounds. Scavengers played an important role in the ecosystem. Animals that fed on dead bodies helped remove remains from the landscape. Smaller meat-eaters, insects, and microorganisms all contributed to breaking down dead animals. Microorganisms that cannot be seen without magnification also lived in Jurassic soils and water. They helped decompose organic material and recycle nutrients. Without these tiny living things, dead plants and animals would have remained much longer on the ground. Sunlight powered nearly all life in the Jurassic environment. Plants used sunlight to produce the energy they needed for growth. Plant-eaters gained energy by feeding on vegetation. meat-eaters gained energy by eating other animals. This continuous movement of energy connected every living thing in the ecosystem. Competition existed among plant-eating dinosaurs for feeding areas when food became less available. Competition also existed among predators searching for prey. These natural pressures influenced movement, feeding behavior, and survival. Not every hunt ended successfully. Large prey often escaped or defended themselves. Predators sometimes received injuries while attacking animals with horns, spikes, strong tails, or powerful legs. Hunting required strength, patience, and careful timing. The changing seasons also affected breeding. Many animals likely reproduced when food supplies were greatest. Young animals had a better chance of surviving if enough plants and water were available after they hatched or were born. Different soil types supported different kinds of vegetation. Sandy soils drained water quickly. Rich floodplain soils remained moist for longer periods and allowed thick plant growth. Rocky ground supported fewer large plants, but still provided homes for many smaller species. Clouds sometimes covered the sky for days during rainy periods. At other times, bright sunshine lasted for long stretches. Storms brought heavy rain, strong winds and lightning that occasionally damaged forests by knocking down trees. Fire may also have occurred naturally after lightning strikes during dry seasons. Fires cleared patches of vegetation. New plants later grew in these open spaces, creating fresh feeding grounds for plant-eaters. The Morrison ecosystem supported one of the richest dinosaur communities known from the Jurassic. Fossils of meat-eaters, plant-eaters, flying reptiles, crocodile relatives, turtles, fish, amphibians, insects, and early mammals show that many different forms of life shared the same environment. Scientists continue discovering new fossils from these ancient rocks. Every new bone, footprint, tooth, egg, or plant fossil adds more information about how this ecosystem functioned. Fossil pollen, fossil wood, fossil leaves, and ancient soils help researchers understand the climate and vegetation that surrounded Allosaurus. Tracks left in soft mud reveal where dinosaurs walked millions of years ago. Some trackways show groups of plant-eaters moving together across wet ground. Others preserve the footprints of predators traveling through the same regions. These tracks provide information about movement, speed, and behavior. Ancient river sediments contain clues about water flow, seasonal flooding, and changes in climate. Layers of sandstone, mudstone, and limestone formed under different environmental conditions. Scientists study these rocks alongside fossils to rebuild the appearance of the Jurassic landscape. The world of Allosaurus was shaped by warm weather, changing seasons, flowing rivers, rich forests, open plains, and countless living organisms. Every plant, every animal, every stream, every patch of soil, and every change in the weather influenced daily life. Large plant-eaters depended on the forests and floodplains for food. Smaller animals depended on shelter among plants, rocks, and fallen trees. Predators depended on healthy populations of prey. Rivers supplied water to nearly every form of life. Plants continued growing as sunlight, rainfall, and fertile soil supported the rich ecosystems that spread across the Jurassic landscape. Allosaurus lived in a world where life was filled with danger every day. Even though it was one of the largest meat-eating dinosaurs of the Late Jurassic period, it was never completely safe. Every day brought new risks from other large predators, powerful plant-eating dinosaurs, changing weather, lack of food, injuries, disease, and the challenges of raising young. Survival depended on strength, good timing, experience, and the ability to deal with problems that could appear without warning. One of the greatest dangers faced by Allosaurus came from other Allosaurus. members of the same species often competed for food, hunting grounds, water sources, and mates. This kind of competition is common among large predators because they need large amounts of food to stay alive. When food became harder to find, fights between individuals could become more common. Scientists have found many Allosaurus fossils with healed injuries. Some of these injuries include broken ribs, damaged jaws, cuts on the skull, and injured arms. These healed bones show that many individuals survived serious wounds. Some of these injuries may have happened while hunting large prey, but others may have come from fighting with other Allosaurus. Sharp teeth could leave deep cuts, and strong bites could break bones. Even if a fight did not end in death, the injuries could make hunting much harder for weeks or months. Adult males may have competed for mates during the breeding season. If this happened, they may have displayed their strength before fighting. Head movements, loud sounds, body posture, or short attacks may have helped decide which animal was stronger. If neither animal backed away, the fight could become dangerous. A damaged jaw or broken limb could affect an individual's ability to catch food later. Young Allosaurus also faced danger from larger adults. In times when food was limited, some large predators may have attacked smaller members of their own species. This behavior is known from many living meat-eating animals today. Scientists cannot say with complete certainty how often this happened in Allosaurus, but it remains a possible risk. Another major rival was Ceratosaurus. Ceratosaurus lived during the same period and shared many of the same environments. Although it was smaller than many adult Allosaurus, it was still a dangerous predator with strong jaws and sharp teeth. It may have hunted different kinds of prey much of the time, but the two predators likely crossed paths regularly. When both predators found the same dead animal, competition could become intense. Meat was a valuable resource. A large carcass could feed a predator for several days, depending on its size and how many animals gathered around it. If Allosaurus reached the carcass first, Ceratosaurus might have waited nearby for an opportunity to steal pieces of meat. If Ceratosaurus arrived first, Allosaurus might have tried to drive it away using its larger body. Scientists believe that predators often avoid unnecessary fights because injuries can reduce the chance of survival. Even a small wound can become infected or reduce hunting ability. Because of this, much competition may have involved threatening behavior rather than direct attacks. Loud calls, open-mouth displays, body movements and short charges could have helped settle many disagreements. Torvosaurus was another dangerous rival. This large meat-eating dinosaur lived during the Late Jurassic and reached a size close to or even larger than some Allosaurus individuals. Torvosaurus had a powerful skull and large teeth designed for cutting flesh. If these two predators met while hunting or feeding, the situation could become dangerous for both. The presence of another large predator meant fewer available prey animals for each hunter. If both species depended on similar food sources, they would naturally compete. Areas with many large plant-eating dinosaurs could support several predators, but periods of drought or seasonal changes could reduce available food. During these difficult times, competition may have increased. Large predators also competed over territory. Certain river valleys, lakes, forests, or open plains may have provided better hunting opportunities than other places. Animals living in these rich areas would have better chances of finding food. If another large predator entered these hunting grounds, conflict could follow. Even though Allosaurus was a skilled hunter, some of its prey could fight back with tremendous force. Stegosaurus was one of the most dangerous animals it hunted. This large plant-eater carried 2 rows of large plates along its back and had a tail armed with long spikes. The spikes on its tail formed a deadly weapon. If Allosaurus attacked from the wrong direction, Stegosaurus could swing its tail with great speed and force. A strike from those spikes could cause deep wounds, broken bones, or even death. Scientists have discovered fossils that suggest contact between these two dinosaurs. One famous Allosaurus bone shows signs of injury that may have been caused by a Stegosaurus tail spike. A wounded predator faced many problems after such an encounter. Broken bones reduced movement. Deep cuts increased the chance of infection. Hunting became more difficult because running, turning, and attacking required healthy muscles and bones. A predator that could no longer hunt successfully might slowly weaken from lack of food. Large sauropods also presented serious dangers. Dinosaurs such as Apatosaurus, Diplodocus, Camarasaurus, and Brachiosaurus were enormous animals. Adult sauropods reached sizes that made direct attacks extremely risky. Their massive weight alone could kill a predator if they stepped on it. Their tails also served as powerful defensive tools. A strong tail swing could strike an attacking predator with tremendous force. Even if the tail did not break bones, it could knock an animal to the ground, giving the sauropod time to escape or continue defending itself. The long necks and large bodies of sauropods allowed them to notice danger from different directions. Groups of adults may have protected younger animals by surrounding them or staying close together. A young sauropod separated from the group may have been easier for predators to attack, but reaching such an animal without being noticed would not always have been easy. Large prey often defended themselves with kicks from their powerful legs. A strong kick from a giant plant-eater could break bones in a predator. Broken legs or damaged hips could end an Allosaurus's hunting career. Even surviving such an injury did not guarantee recovery. Dry periods created another major danger. During droughts, rivers became smaller, ponds dried up, and plants struggled to grow. Plant-eating dinosaurs then had less food available. As herbivores became weaker or moved to different areas in search of fresh plants, predators had to follow them or face hunger. Long journeys in search of prey required energy. Walking across dry landscapes under the hot Jurassic sun increased water loss. Predators needed regular access to water just as plant-eaters did. Waterholes became gathering places where many different animals met. These places could provide hunting opportunities, but also increased the chance of dangerous encounters. Floods created different kinds of problems. Heavy seasonal rains could cause rivers to overflow. Fast-moving water carried mud, fallen trees, and rocks across the landscape. Young Allosaurus could easily be swept away by strong currents. Even adults risked injury while crossing flooded rivers. Floods also changed the landscape. Familiar paths disappeared underwater. Mud trapped large animals. Dead trees blocked travel routes. Hunting became more difficult until conditions improved. Wildfires may also have affected parts of the Jurassic landscape during dry seasons. Fires destroyed vegetation, forcing plant-eating dinosaurs to leave affected areas. Predators then had fewer nearby prey animals. Smoke reduced visibility and made breathing difficult. Escaping a fast-moving fire required quick movement and good awareness of the surrounding land. Disease was another danger that cannot easily be seen in fossils. Like modern animals, Allosaurus probably suffered from infections caused by bacteria, viruses, fungi, or parasites. A small wound from hunting could become infected if harmful organisms entered the body. Bone infections leave marks that scientists sometimes find in fossils. Some Allosaurus skeletons show signs of disease affecting bones. Living with such infections would have caused pain and reduced movement. An infected jaw could make feeding difficult. an infected leg could reduce walking speed. Parasites may have lived inside the digestive system or on the skin. Internal parasites could reduce nutrition by taking food from the host's body. External parasites may have caused skin irritation or carried diseases between animals. Broken teeth presented another problem. Allosaurus depended on its teeth to grip and cut flesh. Teeth could break while biting bones or struggling prey. Fortunately, meat-eating dinosaurs replaced lost teeth throughout life. Even so, losing several teeth at once may have reduced feeding efficiency until new teeth grew. Jaw injuries were especially serious. Damage to the jaw affected biting strength. A predator unable to bite properly would struggle to hold prey. Healing required time, and during that period, the animal needed easier sources of food, such as smaller animals or carcasses. Old age also created challenges. As Allosaurus grew older, muscles weakened, bones became less strong, and old injuries may have caused lasting pain. Worn teeth reduced cutting ability. Slower movement made chasing prey more difficult. Older individuals may have depended more on scavenging whenever the opportunity appeared. Young Allosaurus faced dangers almost from the moment they hatched. Their small size made them vulnerable to many predators. Large meat-eating dinosaurs could easily attack them. Even medium-sized predators presented serious threats. Many hatchlings probably did not survive to adulthood. Finding enough food was difficult. For young animals, they could not hunt the same prey as adults. Small reptiles, insects, early mammals, amphibians, and small dinosaurs may have formed much of their diet. Learning to hunt required practice and experience. Weather also affected young individuals more than adults. Heavy rain could flood nesting areas. Hot temperatures increased the risk of dehydration. Cold nights placed stress on growing bodies. Without enough food and protection, young dinosaurs had little chance of surviving. Eggs themselves faced danger long before hatching. Nest-raiding animals searched for eggs because they provided rich nutrition. Small meat-eating dinosaurs, early mammals, and other scavengers may have eaten unprotected eggs whenever they found them. Parents may have guarded nests for some time, although scientists continue to study how much care Allosaurus provided. If adults left the nest to search for food, eggs became more vulnerable. A single, successful nest raider could destroy an entire clutch. Competition for food existed not only with other large predators, but also with smaller, meat-eating dinosaurs. Although smaller hunters targeted different prey, much of the time they still removed food from the environment. Every animal that caught prey reduced the total amount available for others. Scavengers also created problems. After a large animal died, many different meat-eaters likely gathered around the carcass. Smaller predators, flying reptiles, insects, and other scavengers quickly removed flesh. The longer Allosaurus waited before feeding, the less meat remained. Rotting meat introduced additional risks. Bacteria multiplied as carcasses decomposed. Eating spoiled meat increased exposure to harmful organisms. Modern scavengers have special body systems that help reduce these dangers, but ancient predators still faced health risks from heavily decayed food. Changing seasons influenced food supplies throughout the year. During wetter times, plants grew more successfully, supporting larger numbers of plant eaters. During drier periods, plant growth slowed. As herbivores moved to better feeding areas, predators needed to adjust their own movements. Migration of prey created another challenge. If large herds traveled long distances, Allosaurus had to decide whether to follow them or remain in familiar territory. Following the herds meant finding more food, but also entering unfamiliar landscapes filled with unknown dangers. Travel itself carried risks. Rough ground increased the chance of falling. Sharp rocks could injure the feet, thick forests reduced visibility. Steep hills required extra energy. Rivers blocked movement and sometimes forced dangerous crossings. Injuries from hunting happened regularly. Every attack involved uncertainty. A prey animal might suddenly turn, kick, swing its tail, or fall onto the predator. Even successful hunts could leave cuts, bruises, broken claws, or damaged muscles. The arms of Allosaurus were shorter than its legs but remained strong. During close contact with prey, these arms may have helped hold struggling animals. A powerful movement from prey could injure these limbs. Fossils show that arm injuries occurred in some individuals. The feet also experienced heavy stress. Running across uneven ground placed great pressure on bones and joints. Foot injuries reduced mobility. A predator unable to move quickly had fewer opportunities to catch prey. Environmental changes over many generations also influenced survival. River systems shifted across the land, forests expanded or shrank, open plains changed location, food sources changed as plant communities changed. Allosaurus populations had to adjust to these long-term environmental changes. Volcanic activity may have affected some regions during the Jurassic. Ash falling from eruptions could cover plants, contaminate water, and reduce air quality for a time. Local animal populations would have been forced to move away from affected areas until conditions improved. Dust storms may have developed during dry periods. Blowing dust reduced visibility and made breathing more difficult. Fine particles entered the eyes and nose. Hunting became less effective when predators could not clearly see their surroundings. Finding mates may also have presented challenges. Adult Allosaurus needed to locate members of their own species across large landscapes. If populations became spread out, finding a mate required traveling longer distances. These journeys increased exposure to unfamiliar predators, difficult terrain, and food shortages. Protecting nesting sites required energy and time. Adults guarding eggs or young had less time available for hunting. Hunger could increase if food remained difficult to find near the nesting area. Natural accidents also caused deaths. Falling rocks, collapsing riverbanks, deep mud, and unstable ground trapped large animals. Some fossils suggest that dinosaurs occasionally became stuck in muddy areas, where escape proved impossible. Deep mud near rivers or lakes was especially dangerous. Heavy animals sank more deeply as they struggled. Exhaustion followed if escape took too much energy. Other predators might discover trapped animals and attack them while they remained helpless. Water itself created additional dangers beyond flooding. Strong currents, deep channels, and slippery riverbanks increased the risk of drowning. Injured animals crossing rivers had even lower chances of reaching the opposite side safely. Large crocodile relatives lived in some Jurassic waterways. Although adult Allosaurus probably faced little danger from most of these reptiles, young individuals approaching the water could become targets. Drinking at the edge of rivers required caution. Food shortages affected body condition over time. Without enough meat, fat reserves became smaller, muscles weakened. The immune system likely became less effective. Sick or injured individuals had greater difficulty recovering when nutrition remained poor. Population changes also influenced survival. If herbivore numbers dropped because of drought, disease, or environmental change, predator populations eventually declined as well. Too many predators chasing too few prey animals created intense competition. Large predators often depended on experience. Older Allosaurus learned successful hunting methods through years of practice. Younger adults lacked this knowledge and may have made more mistakes. Poor decisions during hunts increased the chance of injury. Scars likely covered many adult Allosaurus by the time they reached full maturity. Every scar represented an earlier danger that had been survived. Some came from prey, others came from rivals. Still others resulted from accidents or disease. Each healed injury showed that survival often depended on endurance as much as hunting skill. The changing climate across long stretches of the late Jurassic also influenced daily life. Rainfall patterns shifted over time. Some years may have brought abundant plant growth, while others produced dry conditions. Predator populations likely rose and fell along with these environmental cycles. Large carcasses attracted many hungry animals at once. Instead of enjoying a peaceful meal, an Allosaurus, feeding on a dead sauropod, might suddenly face challenges from other Allosaurus, Ceratosaurus, Torvosaurus, or smaller scavengers trying to steal meat. Constant awareness remained necessary while feeding. Even after surviving a dangerous hunt, a predator could lose much of its meal to competitors. Stronger individuals often claimed the best feeding positions. Weaker animals had to wait or search elsewhere. Young predators gradually learned which prey was safer to attack. Small prey carried less risk, but provided less food. Larger prey supplied much more meat, but also brought much greater danger. Choosing the wrong target could lead to severe injury. Every stage of life presented different threats. Eggs risked being eaten before hatching. Hatchlings faced countless predators. Young hunters struggled to gain experience. Healthy adults dealt with dangerous prey, rival predators, hunger, and injuries. Older animals battled weakness, worn teeth, and slower movement while still needing enough food to survive.